The ship's engines thrummed steadily beneath her feet. A subtle vibration that Elara Voss found oddly comforting as the vessel pierced the upper atmosphere of their colony planet. Outside the viewport, the sky faded from the familiar cobalt blue to the deep indigo of space, stars blossoming into sharp points of light against the velvety darkness. For a brief moment, the endless cosmos seemed to cradle them in silence, a vastness both beautiful and indifferent. Elara stood at the command console, her sharp eyes scanning the readouts as the ship crossed the atmospheric boundary. Around her, the rest of the crew moved with quiet purpose, Myra Solon adjusting a control panel with practiced efficiency, Captain Soren Hale monitoring security feeds with a wary gaze, and Jox Wren leaning against the bulkhead, arms crossed, his weather-beaten face tight with concentration. The mission was underway. Months of planning, political wrangling, and personal sacrifice had culminated in this moment. They were no longer anchored to the colony's fractured politics and dwindling resources. They were explorers stepping into the unknown, chasing the faint promise encoded in the cosmic silence. All systems nominal, reported Linway from the communications station, her fingers dancing over the console as she searched for any faint echoes of the transmission beyond the known frequencies. Elara nodded, though a knot of anxiety tightened in her chest. The transmission's coordinates had led them here, to the outer reaches of their planetary system, but what awaited was a mystery. The cosmic blackout that had severed their link with Earth was not just a local failure, which was a phenomenon of staggering scale and complexity. "Steady as she goes," Mira murmured, her voice carrying a note of optimism that Elara desperately wanted to share. "We've come too far to turn back now." But the mission was more than a simple journey through space. It was a crucible testing the fragile alliances forged in the colony's turmoil. Within the cramped quarters of the ship, tensions simmered beneath the surface. The lingering mistrust between factions had not vanished with their departure. It had simply followed them into the void. During a meeting in the control room, voices rose in discord. Captain Hale argued for a conservative approach, emphasizing security and the need for caution. Jox Wren, ever pragmatic, pushed for a faster pace, citing the dwindling supplies and the urgency of their mission. Mira sought to mediate, her tone calm but firm. "We can't afford to fracture now," she said, eyes meeting each crew member in turn. "Our survival depends on unity." Elara watched the exchange, feeling the weight of leadership pressing down on her. She knew that beyond the cosmic dangers, the greatest threat might be the divisions within their own ranks. Later, as the ship cruised through the star-speckled darkness, Elara found herself stepping onto the airlock deck. The barren surface of a distant outpost loomed before her, its skeletal remains whispering tales of forgotten hope and failed attempts at survival. The alien wind was cold and biting, carrying the silence of a world abandoned. Here, in this desolation, Elara felt the profound solitude that had defined the colony's existence since the loss of Earth contact. Yet, in that solitude, she also sensed a spark of fragile ember of resilience. But the journey was far from smooth. A sudden cosmic storm erupted without warning, battering their ship with violent electromagnetic waves. The lights flickered, alarms shrieked, and the vessel shuddered under the assault. In the chaos, the crew sprang into action. Captain Hale barked orders, Mira coordinated damage control teams, and Jox worked feverishly to reroute power. Elara's voice cut through the din, steady and resolute. "Focus on stabilization. We survive this together." The storm was relentless, but the crew's cooperation held firm. The shared struggle forged bonds that had been mere threads before, knitting them into a cohesive unit capable of facing whatever lay beyond. As the storm passed, the ship emerged, battered but intact. The cosmic silence resumed, punctuated now by the renewed heartbeat of hope. Ilara allowed herself a brief moment of reflection. They had crossed the divide knot, just the physical boundary of their planet's atmosphere, but the chasm of fear and isolation that had gripped their society. The path ahead was uncertain, fraught with danger and doubt, yet it was theirs to walk. "We're not alone out here," she whispered to herself, eyes fixed on the stars. Not anymore. And with that, the mission pressed onward, into the vast unknown, where silence held secrets yet to be uncovered and a future waiting to be reclaimed. The next hours passed in a tense rhythm of observation, calculation, and cautious exploration. Ilara and her team worked tirelessly to interpret the data streaming from sensors and instruments, piecing together a picture of the cosmic phenomena that had silenced their world. Personal moments flickered amidst the technical focus. Myra's easy smile surfaced occasionally, a balm against the growing strain, while Captain Hale's stern demeanor softened in private conversations with Ilara, revealing a man grappling with the burden of responsibility. Jox's stories of underground networks and smuggling routes lent a gritty realism to their mission, grounding their lofty hopes in the harsh truths of survival. Despite their differences, the crew was finding its rhythm, a delicate dance of trust and cooperation that might just carry them through the darkness. But the cosmic storm was a stark reminder that the universe was indifferent to their struggles, a vast expanse where survival was never guaranteed. As the ship sailed deeper into the void, Ilara's thoughts returned to the transmission, the encoded message that had set them on this path. It spoke of warning and hope, of survival amid catastrophe. The truth behind the cosmic blackout was close, tantalizingly within reach, but it would demand courage and sacrifice. The divide they had crossed was more than spatial, it was a threshold of understanding, a passage from isolation to connection, from despair to possibility. And as the stars wheeled overhead, silent sentinels in the endless night, Ilara vowed to lead her people through whatever darkness lay ahead, toward the light of rediscovery. The journey had truly begun. The cold settled over the landscape like a shroud as Ilara Voss led the expedition deeper into the uncharted frontier beyond the colony's established perimeter. The sky above was a bruised canvas of twilight purples and deepening blues. The stars obscured by the thickening clouds that crept low over the jagged hills. Each breath came out in icy puffs, mingling with the crisp scent of alien pine and frost-hardened earth. Ahead, through the veil of mist, the ruins of what had once been a human outpost emerged, silent and spectral. The structures were skeletal now, metal frameworks twisted and corroded, their surfaces etched with the scars of time and neglect. Ilara's sharp eyes scanned the scene, noting the faint remnants of solar arrays and communication antennas that stood like broken sentinels against the dim light. Her heart tightened with a mixture of awe and melancholy. This was a forgotten frontier, a testament to human ambition and fragility in the face of cosmic silence. "Look at this," Mira Solon said softly, her voice barely above a whisper as she stepped cautiously over scattered debris. Her bright eyes reflected the faint glow of emergency light still flickering from within the outpost's central building. "It's like stepping into a ghost story." Captain Soren Hale moved to the front, his stance protective and alert. The security chief's gaze swept the horizon, fingers resting lightly on the grip of his utility tool. "Keep your eyes open. We don't know what's waiting for us here." Inside the command center, the air smelled stale and cold, heavy with dust and the faint tints of burnt circuitry. The walls were lined with consoles, their screens cracked or blank, but here and there, a faint flicker of light struggled to hold on. One terminal emitted a low hum of static, as if trying to whisper secrets from a time long past. Alara approached, kneeling to examine the control panel. Her gloved fingers brushed over the faded inscriptions and warning symbols. This COM device, it was still trying to send out a signal, she said, voice steady but tinged with sadness. Whatever happened here, they were fighting to stay connected. Jox Wren, ever the pragmatist, despite his weather-beaten face, crouched near a shattered console. His wrist screen cast a pale light as he sifted through the digital ruins. Found something, he murmured, eyes narrowing. Coordinates and logs point to other outposts, lost like this one. The revelation rippled through the team. The blackout wasn't confined to their colony, it was a vast cosmic phenomenon that had severed multiple human footholds across the stars. The implications were staggering. Outside, Myra and Captain Hale stood beneath the bruised sky, the tension between them palpable. "We can't afford to hesitate," Myra urged, voice firm yet laced with concern. "If these outposts are lost, we need to find out why and fast." Hale's gaze was steady but cautious. "Agreed. But rushing in blindly could doom us all. We need a plan." Their breath mingled in the cold air, visible and fleeting. In that fragile moment of uneasy truce, the weight of their shared mission pressed upon them the fate of their colony. And perhaps all human survivors hinged on what they discovered next. As night deepened, Jox's fingers danced over his wrist screen, breaking through layers of encrypted data. The coordinates he uncovered hinted at settlements scattered like distant stars lost in the void. Hope flickered in the dim command center, a fragile flame against the encroaching darkness. Alara stood at the threshold of the outpost, the silence pressing in around her. The stars beyond remained hidden, but within the ruins, a new signal was stirring, a promise that even in the vast loneliness of space, humanity's reach was not yet broken. "We're not alone in this," she whispered to herself, the words a balm and a challenge, "and we're not done yet." The expedition prepared to move forward, deeper into the silent frontier where answers awaited amid shadows and stars. The path ahead was uncertain, fraught with danger and discovery. But for Alara and her team, every step was a testament to resilience, a refusal to surrender to the cosmic silence. As they departed the outpost, the cold night air seemed to hum with possibility, and the faintest flicker of signal danced just beyond the horizon, beckoning them onward into the unknown. The communications lab was cloaked in the low hum of machinery and the soft flicker of screens, casting long shadows across walls lined with arrays of monitors and antenna controls. Alara Voss sat hunched over the main console, dark hair pulled back tightly, eyes sharp and unblinking as she traced the jagged line of static scrolling over the display. Beside her, Dr. Linway adjusted the delicate filters, fingers nimble and practiced, narrowing the bandwidth to isolate any meaningful pattern hidden in the cosmic white noise that blanketed the colony's fragile network. "Try lowering the threshold by another decibel," Alara murmured, her voice steady despite the pounding in her chest. "If there's anything out there, we'll find it." Lin nodded, lips pressed in concentration, then slid a slider down slowly. The static hissed and spat, then a faint series of beeps emerged, almost imperceptible against the background. Alara leaned closer, fingers poised to record every nuance. "There," Lin whispered, pointing to the screen. "Do you hear that? It's not random, it's a pattern." Jox Wren stood near the entrance, arms crossed, his weather-beaten face shadowed by the lab's dim light. His usual cynicism was tempered by a flicker of something new, cautious hope. "Heard something like that before," he said quietly. "Down in the old sector's black market, frequencies picked up faint chatter. Never lasted long. Maybe we're not alone after all." Captain Soren Hale remained just outside the door, his attention divided between the quiet lab and the restless murmurs of the colony beyond. His stance was rigid, muscles taut like a drawn bowstring. Trust was a fragile commodity in these times, but even he could feel the weight of this moment. Illyra's fingers danced over the console, decoding lines of code and translating pulses into data. The signal was weak and intermittent, but it carried a rhythm, something artificial, deliberate. She exchanged a glance with Lynn, who nodded with quiet excitement. "If this is what I think it is," Alara said, voice barely above a whisper, "it means there are others out there, survivors, or something else." Jox's eyes narrowed. Or a trap. Could be anyone sending signals to lure us into the open. "We don't know," Alara admitted, "but we can't ignore it." The room fell into a tense silence, the only sound the steady beeping from the console as the signal repeated its coded message. Alara felt a surge of determination. The vast silence that had gripped the colony since Earth's disappearance was no longer absolute. Flickers of connection, however faint, were emerging from the void. Over the following hours, the team worked in relentless shifts, refining their filters and cross-referencing the signal with known patterns. Each breakthrough brought a wave of exhilaration, tempered by the knowledge that with hope came risk. The colony's factions, already on edge, would seize on this discovery to advance their own agendas. Yet for Elora, it was proof that the cosmic silence was not the end, it was a beginning. Outside, the colony's night deepened, stars glittering cold and distant. But inside the lab, a fragile thread of light wove through the darkness, binding fractured spirits with the promise of something beyond isolation. The journey was far from over, but for the first time in many cycles, Alara dared to believe that connection still endured. As dawn crept over the horizon, she whispered to herself, "We are not alone." And with that, the fragile hope of the colony was reborn. The signal pulsed again, steady, persistent, a beacon in the void that beckoned them forward. The cramped quarters of the mission's temporary base felt smaller with every passing hour. The recycled air pressed heavy with unspoken grievances and the weight of unresolved tensions. Alara Voss stood near the central console, her sharp eyes flicking from the flickering data feeds to the faces around her, faces taut with frustration and exhaustion. Mira Solan's voice cut through the low murmur of dissent, sharp and resolute. "Jox, you can't keep withholding information. We need transparency if we're going to survive this." Her bright eyes, usually so full of optimism, now glinted with impatience. Jox Wren's rugged face twisted into a sneer, quick hands clenched tightly on the edge of his worn jacket. "You think I don't want to share? You don't know what's out there, the risks I take just to keep this group alive. I've seen what happens when you trust the wrong people." His tone was edged with bitterness, a product of the colony's collapse and his own disillusionment. Alara stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. "We don't have the luxury of fractures right now. Every piece of information, every resource counts. We're all here because we want the same thing, a chance to understand, to survive, and maybe to reconnect with Earth." The room grew silent, save for the mechanical hum of the equipment and the distant echoes of the planet's restless winds outside the sealed habitat. Captain Soren Hale, standing near the entrance, crossed his arms. His tall, sturdy frame cast a shadow that seemed to fill the room. "Ilara's right," he said, his voice low and steady. We can't afford mistrust. Not with what's coming. His keen eyes scanned the group, silently warning of the dangers lurking both outside and within. But even as he spoke, the undercurrent of doubt ran deep. The strain of the mission was wearing on all of them. Every long night spent parsing the enigmatic transmission, every failed attempt at decoding the signal, chipped away at their resolve. The isolation pressed down like a physical weight, and the silence from Earth was a constant reminder of their severance from everything familiar. Later, Alara found herself alone on the observation deck. The only source of light, a pale blue glow from distant instrumentation. Beyond the reinforced glass, the void stretched infinitely. Starless and silenter, vast emptiness that mirrored the turmoil inside her. The coldness of space seemed to seep through the glass, chilling her resolve. She traced the faint outlines of distant nebulae and ghostly cosmic clouds, searching for meaning in the darkness. The encoded transmission they had uncovered hinted at something monumental, a cosmic event that had silenced Earth and fractured the colony's fragile connection to their origin. Yet here, in this moment of quiet, Alara felt the weight of doubt creeping in. Was their mission doomed to fail? Could she truly hold together this fractured group of disparate souls, each carrying their own fears and agendas? A sudden flicker, then darkness. The power fluctuated unexpectedly, plunging the observation deck and the entire base into a heavy blackout. The hum of equipment ceased, replaced by the soft sounds of whispered fears and hurried footsteps. In the blackness, shadows seemed to writhe, feeding the anxiety that gripped their hearts. Myra's voice rang out, steady despite the panic. "Everyone, stay calm. We've trained for this. Systems will restore any moment now." The blackout lasted only a few seconds, but in that brief void, suspicion and fear ignited like dry tinder. Accusations flew in hushed tones. Was this sabotage? A sign of internal dissent? The fissures that Alara had worked so hard to mend threatened to splinter the fragile trust they had built. Captain Hale's firm voice cut through the murmurs. "No one acts alone here. We'll find the cause, but we must stay united." Alara gathered her strength, stepping to the center of the room. "This mission is bigger than any one of us. We face a cosmic silence that could swallow us whole if we falter. We need to stand together, trust each other, or we lose everything." Her words hung in the air, a fragile bridge over the widening chasm of uncertainty. The team looked to her, searching for the resolve she so quietly bore. Among them, the echoes of conflict still whispered, but beneath the surface, a flicker of shared purpose remained. The path ahead was uncertain, fraught with danger both external and internal. Yet Alara knew that if they could weather these storms, if they could mend the fractures within, they might just find a way through the silence, a way to bring light to the darkness. As the power hummed back to life and the screens flickered on, a renewed determination settled over the team. The mission was far from over, and the true test of their unity was yet to come. But in that fragile moment of reconciliation, hope flickered an ember amidst the void, urging them onward. Outside, the planet's winds whispered through the barren landscape, carrying with them the promise of change. And somewhere beyond the silent stars, the transmission awaited its final decoding, a message that could reshape their destiny forever. Alara turned back to the console, fingers poised over the controls. The echoes of conflict might never fully disappear, but neither would the human spirit's relentless quest for connection and understanding. The silence was vast, but not absolute. Somewhere in the void, a signal waited to be heard, and with it, the chance for a new beginning. Her journey was far from over, and as the night deepened, the colony held its breath. teetering on the edge of discovery and despair, bound together by fragile threads of trust and the unyielding hope that even in the darkest silence, light could be found.